New year, same savages. Let's talk about carjackings. What's good, YouTube, man? Thank y'all for tuning in to I Am Fresh. And we are back at it again with another video. And to my Fresh fam, man, thank y'all so much for always tuning in with your boy.
Yeah, boy.
Fresh family, I think it's important that we go over something that's very common amongst these savages out here, man. And what is that, you may ask? Carjackings, all right? But before we get into this conversation, I want y'all to take a look at some footage that was sent to me and brought to my attention before we jump into the conversation, man. So let's roll the clip. Alright, Fresh fans, so as you can see in this video, man, these women were absolutely horrified, and rightfully so. I mean, it seems very early in the morning. It seems like they're on their way to work. As you can see, one of the females had on some scrubs. It seems like she was probably headed into work, but potentially could have been her daughter or something like that, man. And, you know, it's just a normal, typical morning. They're not expecting to walk to the car and have a gun pointed in their face and somebody with a mask going running up on them, you know, demanding their items, demanding their car. You know what I'm saying? So first and foremost, Fresh fam, we have to always make sure that we on point. And I know it seems kind of tough to say, well, listen, you're not going to always be on point, and that is true. You're not going to always be on point. There are going to be times where your guard is down, where you feel most relaxed, such as coming out your house in the wee hours of the morning to head to work. But unfortunately, that's what criminals of the world is looking for when you least expect it. So it's very important that we stay on point as much as possible, all right? So to break down this video, to use this as a scenario, because this is very common, man. A lot of people in places like gas stations, parking garages, out front your house, they tend to get pride on because it makes you a perfect victim. One thing that I wanted to point out in that video that I'm happy that they did, and if you're ever caught off guard, the best thing you can do, this goes for male or female, the best thing that you can do is just give it up. There's no material possession that is worth your life. You only get one life, but you're going to run through tons of material possessions throughout your life. Give it up. That's what car insurance is for.
And be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Go ahead and let them take the car. And guess what? You either get the car back, and if they told it, your insurance will take care of it, man. All right? So that's what insurance is for. There's no point in paying insurance every month if you're scared to use it. The next thing is the lady handed over her items and she started screaming. That's absolutely perfect. You want to draw as much attention and awareness to yourself as much as possible. She did great by screaming to the top of her lungs. It'll alert neighbors, it'll alert witnesses, just in case he planned on doing anything past taking the car or just robbing them, because you never know what people's intent is. Some people have a lot of ill intent on their mind. He could have been wanting to kidnap them. You never know. So them screaming, drawing a lot of attention, startled him, put him in a panic, in a rush. As you can see, he kind of ran off, but then ran back to the female. She threw her purse down. Listen, take everything, keep screaming to the top of your lungs. You have everything. I'm drawing attention. Take it and leave. That was perfect. All right, so listen. Let's jump into what are some preventative measures we can take to avoid being carjacked or robbed or caught in a position where you're caught off guard to be a victim, right? What you want to do is always just kind of make it a habit of just peeping outside. By looking out that window before your departure, look outside of a top window, all right? What looking outside of a top window is going to do is allow you to get that higher level view so that you don't have any blind spots when you walk out your house. When they walked out their house, notice that the perpetrator kind of stood on the other side of the car and then caught them on the blind side when they least expected it, all right? if you kind of peep on the upper level of the house, because he can't time exactly when you're coming out the house. So 9 times out of 10, she probably warmed up her car with a remote start or unlocked it while she was in the house, giving an indicator that she was coming out, all right? That's gonna be my second thing, so put a pin in that right there. When you're looking out that window at a higher level, you're able to see if somebody's waiting on the other side of the car over another car or hiding behind some bushes. You'll be able to see some fraudulent activity or somebody who is unwanted in your yard, all right? Now remember I told you to put a pin in that last thing I said. That's gonna segue into my second thing. My second thing is don't give any indicators that you're about to come out the house, all right? I know we like to warm up our cars before we go outside, but what that does is alert any type of potential robbers or carjackers that, hey, this person will come out eventually because they're warming the car up and they're about to leave. Let's wait right here until I see them coming out, and half the battle is already done because they know you're coming and the car is already started and warmed up for them to take it. All right, so you're just gonna have to bite the bullet and not warm up the vehicle, okay? You wanna make it so that they don't know that you're coming outside, okay? So you can't warm up the car. Start the car once you get in, let the car run for just a few minutes, and then pull off. The car will warm up as you are driving, okay? Especially if you're in a heavy residential environment, all right? That's gonna be key to preventing a potential robbery or carjacking, all right? Especially if they're lurking around in your neighborhood. Your neighborhood is the neighborhood of choice. Third thing, if you're ever approached, create space. As you can see in the video, once she threw that purse down, she was already backing up out of the frame of the camera. Create space, keep space at all times because you don't want this to turn into a kidnapping or a hostage situation. Always keep that space between you and a perpetrator because that's gonna be critical to saving your life, all right? My last thing is, this is why I keep and my family members keep a firearm, because that's gonna be the equalizer in a situation like this, especially when a perpetrator has run up to you with a gun and he's holding that in your face and is threatening you and is threatening your life as well too. You wanna make sure that you have some level of protection. Me and my family, we have guns. I'm not promoting the sale of guns. I'm not encouraging you to go and get a gun. I'm just saying what me and my family have. Now, if you all are fearful of guns, guns is not your thing, maybe look into getting some mace, because mace is something that you can spray while still keeping that distance. You want to make sure that you're not engaging physically with that perpetrator at all. You want to keep that space, all right? So by having mace, that's going to allow you to have that space. Things like tasers and knives, it's going to require you to get kind of physical and close up. You don't want to bring a knife or a taser to a gunfight. Obviously, this guy's got a gun in his hands. You can see he had a big old drum, a big old nifty 50 hanging out the bottom of that thing. So obviously he must mean business and he's ready for some level of an encounter. If he's got a 50 round hanging off the bottom of his handgun, yeah, I will go ahead and make sure that I keep space. And the way you keep space is use mace. Keep space, use mace. All right, so invest in getting yourself some mace with a nice velocity on it, as well as something potent like some bear spray or something like that, something that'll really incapacitate somebody or disorient them, man. You definitely gonna want to look into that, all right? Listen, Fresh Fam, I hope this video was useful for you all. If so, don't hesitate to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure y'all definitely comment down below, man, what are some strategies or some tips and tricks that you can share with others that I might have missed. And if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button, man, and joining the Fresh Fam. And until the next time, I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.